Okay, so basically I'll try and go through my way of doing things, and the aim of this is to have a chat at the end, and I'll be really happy to answer your questions. And I'm not saying it's the way of doing it, the best way, but it's my way, and this is how I've been studying things for the last 15 years now, nearly, in aerobatics. And well, it seems to be working quite well, and it's still improving. And so this conversation will be about physical preparation and mental preparation, and all of this to reach the highest level in unlimited. But be aware that this will be a great asset to be even the best in sportsman level. So let's go. So physical preparation, basically when you fly aerobatics, the more you go up in the level, the more you have to be fit, because what is requested to your body is immense. It's not an Olympic, you don't need to be a super athlete, but you need to be quite good in many different areas. And it's really important. And for me, it's a real key to be fit to fly and to enjoy the flight. And basically, the main thing about being fit is avoiding having injuries. Because if your back doesn't have any strength, then you can really hurt your back. You can hurt your shoulders, and the fittest you are, the longest you can train in a flight, and you don't have to land after 15 minutes. You can do 20, 25, and really make the best performance possible during your training. So I'm not someone who thinks you have to fly a lot. I think if you have a good mental training also, you can be performant without too many flights. I did actually fly a lot last year, because when you fly from advanced to unlimited, there's a real technical level to reach. And for that, you need a lot of experience. So this is for the technical part. I won't speak too much about it today. Maybe someone else or in another period I will talk about it. But so let's go. So for physical preparation, I will go through different points, and then after we can discuss about these points. Can you see my screen? Is it okay?
Yes, Mel, that's fine.
Yeah, okay, just to be sure. So these are for me all the items that are important, and there are probably other items, but for me are important in the physical aspect of flying in aerobatics. So the first thing, and I really put it first because it's important for performance, but also for safety. And we all know that G's are the main thing that we are fighting against when we are flying. So basically, you need to increase your G tolerance. So how do we increase the G tolerance? I've been studying quite a lot this aspect, and I've been looking around how fighter pilots do it. I've been helped by Red Bull Air Race when I used to be the Red Bull Air Race. We had a lot of training for that, because basically when we fly close to the ground, it's a real issue. So now we've experienced, the main thing for me about G tolerance is your core training. So it means that you need to have a really solid body from your neck to your abs. And another thing I didn't realize is how much the legs are important. And often we think that because we are working on flying a plane with a stick, we need to only work the top of the body. But in fact, the legs are a real key according to G tolerance. And I've seen actually that did some studies on fighter pilots where they do the chair exercise. So you sit against the wall and you just pretend you have a chair. And they did that for several months, and it did actually make the G tolerance much higher. So on my side, I think, yeah, just getting really a good core training is something really important in order to get a good G tolerance. And then when you are flying, you need to really be careful about the moment where you breathe. So it's really, you need to hold your breath, and you need to just sometimes release a bit of air. And of course, this will be, the more core training you have, the best G tolerance you will have in flight. So this is very simple. You do planks, you do on the side, you do some abs, you do some sit down against the wall, pretend there's a chair. And basically, if you don't really know which exercises, just look on the internet and you write core training, and this is really magic and will help you a lot about your G tolerance. I'd like to give you another tip that I use when I'm flying, and I think the fighter pilots use it before they do a combat. It's every time when I take off, and when I can, I often can, I just take off and I just go up in altitude quite high, and I do a steep turn, 4 to 5 Gs, and I just release completely my body. I don't fight, and I wait for the little curtain, the G curtain, and then when I feel it coming, I just release, and then I just wake up again a bit, and I start my flight, and I'm perfect. What happens is your body gets ready for the fight. Why do I do that? Because it's better doing it at 3,000 feet up there than doing it at the bottom of a figure or during a steep turn when I'm racing or whatever. So you create the thing so the body starts understanding that it's time to fight. And this is really, really, really amazing. It works really well, and it gives you 30 minutes of full G tolerance. So as you all know, when you float, sometimes it's the first long pull that makes you feel bad. And this really, doing it very high and in a safe altitude makes it happen really in a safe moment. So this is about G tolerance. I've spoken about, so the second point is prevention of injuries. On my side, I've had a lot of injuries in the past. I used to have quite a few health problems, and basically the shoulder, when I was doing the snaps, this has been really unstable. And so I've been working a lot on shoulder stability. This is very simple. It's the same. You can watch exercises on the internet. All that is linked to the shoulder stability and the muscles behind there, because of course we are on the computers all day also, and we are like this, and we need to really, these muscles are really weak behind. So basically it's important to work all the stability around your shoulders. And the second thing that's really important for the prevention of injuries is the back. So core training on the back, and it's not really just bodybuilding, it's going to train all these little muscles you have in the back and that are really holding your column, and it's really important to have this solid. And another time, once again, the legs are important to make your whole body really solid on the pedals. So if you really look after your shoulders, your back, and when I say your back, it means your abs, because don't forget the abs are really what will support your back. So it's not, honestly, it's not 2 hours a day. You just do like 10 minutes every day. It's perfect of just core training, which will help also the G tolerance. So this is the third point is strength. So why do you need strength in aerobatics? Especially when you, well, like as a woman, I probably have a little bit less strength. I work a lot my strength because the stick is quite heavy, in fact. Even if it's extra 330, when you do a flight in unlimited and you want to push -7, -8 Gs, in fact, you need a lot of strength. I don't know the weight on the stick when I fly, but all I know is I do a lot of strength training. This is just going to the gym and lifting up weights. I lift up all sorts of weights and I do it with a physical trainer, but I do it on my side also. It can be push-ups, it can be lift-ups, or whatever that makes my strength in my arms. And I will start again with this because it's a real magic thing. If there's a big secret I can give you today, it's the legs. Nobody likes really working the legs, and basically they are the key. They make you so much stronger on the arms. And when you really support your legs on the pedals, they will give your arms a lot more strength and also help you resist the Gs. So basically nothing special, just a lot of strength training, whenever you can. Of course, the gyms were closed. I don't know in England, but in France it was closed. So just lift up weights and do the maximum strength training you can do. You can have, and it will really help you improve your level in flight by giving you more energy, more dynamic style. And though, of course, the judging is not supposed to check that, it's always nice to see a plane that is flying really neat and with a very neat style and precise. And if you don't have any strength in your arms and legs, it will make you tired and then your heart rate will go up. So always work this strength. The fourth point, and which is really important, is recovery. So we always forget about that. We finish the flight and we go to the pub and have a beer, and we don't really, like, we don't look after our bodies when it's finished. But be aware that a flight is a real trauma for the body. And I would just say one thing that's really important is just have a little stretch after the flight, and just stretch your back a bit and stretch your arms. A few simple exercises are really just like do a 2 minutes routine after the flight and just stretch your body as much as you can and make it go back to the ground. And this will help you get better for the next flight, because when you do a training camp, often on the Wednesday or the Thursday, if you start on the Monday, then you get exhausted and you don't really benefit from the last days. So you need to really look after yourself even after the flight, and just a few stretches will make this easier. Another thing you can do is after the flight is drink a lot of water. I can't highlight enough the effect of water on recovery also. And all of us, we don't drink enough. So just drink, and water. This is a really a key. And I think to really, when it's hot and it's summer on the competition, I think sometimes I've been drinking, I'll speak in liters, but 6 to 8 liters of water, which is maybe 5 to 6 big bottles of water just in a day, and without even going to the toilet all day. So it means you need to drink a lot, and you are always dehydrated, whatever happens. When it's really hot, it's important. Even when it's not hot, but when it's hot, it's even more important. So the next point is speed. So when I say speed, this is when you fly, let's say you're flying an 8-point roll, and you need to be really fast and in your actions. So I've been working a lot on speed, and the speed is linked to strength a lot. You can't have speed if you don't have strength. But of course, you see some guys who are really solid, have a lot of muscles, but they won't have speed. So basically, speed is a work you will do with rubber bands, and really you pull and you release quickly. Because and this is something I'm working now because I still have problems with that, is when I pull my stick back, let's say for a flick, and then I have to throw it back the other way, or when I start to roll and I want to stop it. It's often I'm really good at this way, but then the body is going fast in one direction and my fibers are still not really good at bringing back. And often we are all really focused on rolling fast or making it look good, but then the stops are crap. So basically, it's when your fibers go in one direction, they need to go as fast in the other direction. And I would even say you have to make it slower in one direction to make it really fast on the stop. So this speed is something I work first of all with strength, 2 or 3 months strength training, and then I focus on really the speed and with rubber bands and all this. In the speed section, I also would like to give you like a tip I do. I work with some little lights which are called blaze pod, and basically you can work your speed of reaction with these. They kind of, it's like 3 or 4 lamps. You can get even more than that, and they light up, and you have to switch them off very quickly. So I use these while I'm doing some core training. I like playing also because if not I get bored. So it just makes my brain busy while I'm under stress, and it's really good to help you focus even when your body is tired. So then you can challenge yourself, you can challenge your friends. And I mean, I've given you a brand. I'm not just don't care about any brand, but I think that these lights are really nice just to train with and be able to be tired while you're doing something really focused. So this is one. So in speed, it's the body speed and also the mind speed, I would say. Very shortly now, endurance. So when I say this, it's really running or biking or hiking or anything you can, horse riding, that would make your heart rate go for many hours on like a medium area, like 70% of your maximum heart rate, 70–80%. So this I do it during the winter, because during the summer I don't have time to do it. So I basically I live in a really amazing place in south of France, and I just go on my bike, and sometimes people criticize because I have an electric bike, but in fact it's really amazing because you can control this heart rate, and this helps you avoiding spikes and going up down. So you have to keep your cardio kind of constant for 1–2 hours. And my mountains go up and down all the time, so I can really, with the mountain bike electrical, I can control this and still have fun and do a lot of funny things in the mountains, but keeping my heart rate always the same. And this I did learn it from when I went to the Red Bull Athlete Center, and basically I didn't understand it before, and I had a really bad endurance. And in fact, what does endurance do? It just gives you the basic on your body, and it avoids you being tired. So I would say this is really useful. Well, someone like me, I'm doing a lot of events for my sponsors, and I'm always traveling around the world. So it just keeps me fit and kind of, I don't get tired too much. But on a long contest, it will help you resisting and not being tired. What happens on a contest, if you look, there are 4 flights. And there's something I've realized is that the 4th flight, the third unknown, it's a disaster. And all the rankings change at this flight. And I really believe this is because the nerves, it's the nervous tiredness. And just waiting all week like that gets on your nerves and you get tired. And I think cardio really helps you having a good recovery on a competition. So nothing complicated, just go out and walk and do that the more you can, whenever you can. My brother, every day he walks for an hour, and he's really happy about that. And there's not one day where he doesn't do it. We can all find time to do that. It's just a matter of waking up a little bit earlier and just going out for a walk, and it will make your day so much nicer when you start with a nice walk in the morning. And the last thing, the cardio, not the last one. It's when I say cardio, it's really interval training. So this is what I do now at this moment of the season, where it's a special season also, this 2021, but I do just a very short session, 20 to 30 minutes, and basically just warm up for 5 minutes, and then go up very high for 30 seconds, go down for 30 seconds, up, down, and do 3 or 4 series of 6 to 8. And this just keeps my my heart fit, and it gives me a good recovery. So when I'm flying in the unlimited, my heart goes up, but it goes down quickly. So basically, if you have a good basis on your heart, then you can just do up and down, and interval training will make you really have a good recovery. And I can see it on my watch when I'm flying. My heart doesn't go up too high, and it helps my brain work. Because when you go above 70–75% with your maximum heart rate, the brain starts to work badly. And this is where you don't understand why you made this stupid mistake. But it's just that you're not just sitting in your settee and relaxing, and you're in a plane flying, and your heart rate is really high. And if you start flying and being, or if you're in a program and you're out of breath, it means you can really improve your flying by doing some cardio training. And this is not very long. It's every 2 or 3 times a week, just 20 minutes. Just you can have some trainings also. I think they call that Tabata or CrossFit or something like that, and there you have some apps, and you just like even 15 minutes, and it helps you really resisting to the heart increasing rate in the flights. And the last point, it's in the physical, and it's physiological really, nutrition, and this is a real key for me. We won't have time to go through everything tonight, but it's really important. I won't give any rules because I think it's proper to everybody, and mine is on my example. For example, I can't eat milk. All the dairy products it makes me really feel bad. And when I fly a competition, I 3 hours before the flight, I stop eating whatever. It's 3 hours before, nothing, just maybe a little something before flying. But I know that the digestion makes me really slow down my brain and everything. So for me, nutrition is really important, to be close to your body, listen to your body. And what is, I mean, when you have lunch or dinner, just listen to your body. Do I feel fit? Do I feel tired? And try and find what fits the best for you. Sometimes people like to eat before flying. Some like to eat nothing. And so you need to really, this is your own study, and I won't really tell you eat this, do that. It's, I mean, there's all these guys on the internet trying to gain money doing that. I don't know, it's really proper to each body, and you need to be attentive to that and try and find your own fuel that's good for you. This is it for the physical points. What I would do is I would like to get your questions if you have any on this physical point, and then when we've gone through your questions, we can go to the mental training. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free.
Mel, it's David.
Good.
Hi. I just want to agree with you. So I've, because of lockdown, started doing yoga. I've never done yoga before. I've now been doing it for a year, plus spin. And then when we were allowed to fly again, I had not flown a sequence for 6 months. My G tolerance was better than it was at the height of the season. I mean, much better. So I can't agree with you more. Core strength has just made a huge difference to the G tolerance, much more than I thought it would. So I'm with you. I agree.
Yeah, of course, and thank you for this, because I didn't speak about yoga, but it's in the stretching. But I mean, I've started doing yoga, and I never thought I would like these kind of things. And there is this physiotherapist who, like 2 months ago, she works with the French military team, and she helps them on this. And she just said she wanted to do a postural check, and she introduced me to this postural yoga. It's just amazing. It's magic. It makes you feel so good. You're in your body, and it makes you stronger. It makes you fitter. It makes you just move in a better way. So yeah, I agree. It's really, and I mean, I've been flying a little bit recently, and really feel much more comfortable in flight, and even more. So it's really, yeah, amazing. Yeah. Okay, no more questions for physical training? That means I've been through all the subjects, so let's talk about mental training. And maybe if you have,
excuse me, before you move on, there's a question. There's a question in the chat from Patrick, which says, concerning prevention of injuries, do you avoid turning your head during G?
Very good question also. Yes, actually I do. And when I don't, I hear, so I hear a very bad noise. I started flying again this season in March, and I had the bad experience of turning my head while pulling Gs. I'm very lucky to be very strong from here, but it can really wreck you completely if you turn your head. So the advice is look in front of you, pull your Gs, and once you set, then you can turn your head. But I would say I mean, if it's 2 Gs or 3 Gs, it's okay. But when you start pulling more Gs, if you have your head turned, well, you can imagine the mechanics behind that. I can hear it. I can hear the cracking in my, maybe not my bones, but my muscles or whatever. It's immediately, I know I'm going to be injured the day after for sure. So no, don't do that. Avoid it.
Thank you.
Okay, so next time we'll do a fitness lesson. Anyway, let's go on the, can we move forward on the mental training? Okay, so mental training, what a subject. The same thing, we need more time and probably a good chat about that when we meet next time. So there's no good or bad way of doing things. It's like nutrition, it's the thing that fits you. I mean, I've been experiencing a few psychological or mental coach or whatever you call them, and I've been through different methods, and yeah, basically they give you tools. You get the tools and you just use the ones you need. More recently, I've been through another vision of mental training, which has completely changed my point of view. It's a young guy who used to be a boxer. He used to box in a French team, and he's now a mental coach, and he has a method that's really short, and in 2 or 3 sessions you can release your how can I say, your limitations, your everything that's stopping you from winning. And so I will go through the classical methods, but if some of you guys or girls have something that's limiting, this method is a really good one. And I'm not a teacher for the method, but I will just give you a little summary of what it is. So basically, these are the things that I find are important in the mental training. And aerobatics is a mental sport. At one point, when we all have the technical skills, add a few details, the difference will be in how you, what is your mindset when you take off for this flight. Let's think about Louis Van Gaal. He's in Châteauroux, and it's the 4th flight. He's about to win the world title or not, and then you take off at this flight. And the difference is your mindset when you take off. And so you have to be stressed, but not too much. You need to find a good balance. And for that, you need to balance the positive and the negative. So it's really important to be, on an emotion side, really stable. Not a robot and not crying, but you need to be in the middle of this. So the first point is, we all know about it. If we fly aerobatics, it's visualization. Inside and outside. Why inside and outside? The first thing is, we all know it's, we imagine we are in the plane, we fly, and we imagine what we're doing in the plane. Often we have the stick and the wing, or we close our eyes. And this is I would say, the easiest point of view. You're flying, you imagine what you're doing. There's one way of visualization I like a lot. It's from the outside. So I'm sitting down in the judge's position, and I watch myself fly. So this is when I'm training, when I'm flying a competition, and I just look in the sky, and I imagine my plane flying and doing the program. And this is how I can see how to position my figures. So it's really, you need to work hard your imagination to imagine that you are watching yourself flying. And then when I'm really in a good brain mood, what I do is I can fly my program, and I'm like in an FPV drone, and I'm flying around myself. So I can really, I'm doing, I don't know, half roll, and I'm turning around myself doing a half roll, and I can see every details of what I'm doing. And when you live your flight like this, it's really easy to get orientation and to learn your flight for the memory, and then you can have a model also. I play with a little model and I make it fly like if I was flying. And sometimes you realize that the figures you have problems with is the ones you can't imagine. So if you have a problem on one, I don't know, it's a 3/4 snap to the right, whatever. If you can't close your eyes and imagine what's going on and how it should look like, then you can't fly it. So basically, you can just save so much training hours like this. Your brain is your best simulator, and you can make even so many games with that. Sometimes I fly, I sit down on my right wing, and I'm flying, I'm turning around myself and imagine I was sitting on there. And you can sit on the tail, you can sit on the front of the plane and you look at yourself flying. And I just play like that and imagine all different points of views, and it makes me really comfortable then when I'm flying. So visualization is really the number one thing. This is why I put it on top. Motivations and goals. So this is also, I'm someone who's really, how can I say, I'm quite sensitive, I think is what you say. So I can go very up and down, and I'm full of emotions and all of this. So I've learned how to stabilize all of this when I'm flying. In life, I keep it because I like having emotions when I see nice landscapes, and I like crying when I'm sad, and this is it. This is how I am. But in flight, I'm really, when I enter my competition flight, I enter in a stable state. And this is really what I told you before. It's managing to make the result less important. Basically, you need to, what I do on my side, I think if I win the world title, what are all the bad things in my life that will happen? And I imagine all of this. Well, this, I can't do this, and then I won't have time with my family. I won't have time with my friends. And I imagine all the bad things that would happen if I win. So it seems crazy, but by doing that, you think, it's not so bad if I don't win. And then you just relax. Well, this is just cool. If I don't win, it's cool. But if I win, it's cool. And you can really, all the pressure falls down. This is really short. I'm just giving you some of the thing. But it's really just having a work on how it's not so important. And it just puts the pressure down. You can do it on the other way. You can, let's say, I take someone we all think that we're not as good as the others. So you can take someone who's really good and say, okay, let's say Alexandre Orlovsky or Louis Van Gaal. Well, I'll never be in front of them. And then you start creating a mindset that will never open the possibility of overtaking these guys. And this naturally will never work. You will never be in front because you're shy compared to these people, these pilots. So basically, this mindset is imagining what are all the points that you admire this person for. Let's say Louis Van Gaal because he's precise all the time. And then you imagine, for myself, when was I precise? And you write down all the times in your life where you were precise. And then you realize that yourself, you are precise. And you do that for many, many things. And you do that, it takes sometimes 2 hours. And then you realize, well, I'm good, in fact, and I can do it. And when you open your mind to the possibility and you open the door that it's possible, then it can be possible. I'm not saying it's going to work, but at least you give yourself a chance to make it possible. And most of it, and this is we're talking about aerobatics, but it's the same in life. We close our doors ourselves. I mean, the main person is ourselves who close the door because we get impressed with just giving a phone call sometimes to someone, and because we imagine so many things. And with the brain, you can change and release the pressure on events. And this is probably a week of training, but you need to really learn how to make things less important, basically. And this is new for me. It's I would say I've experienced it in the competitions in 2020. I only did 2, in fact, competitions. And it wasn't perfect, but I think the result was pretty good, and the feeling was good in the plane. And it makes you much less shy when you fly. And I just gave my training level when I was flying the competition. So this is good. So it's all about finding the good balance in how motivated you are, which is joins the third point of stress management in competition. So basically, it's the same. You need to find a good balance, and if you're very stressed, it's good because you can be really good. But if anything happens, then you just go down completely. So you need to really manage this this thing. And what I do in competition, I stay quite isolated. This is also quite personal because as I'm very sensitive, I captivate the energies of everybody. So when people are aggressive or sad or happy, even someone who's really happy will take out my energy. So just an hour or an hour and a half before my flight, I like to stay alone and just keep my energy for myself and focus on what I'm going to be doing and get in the good mindset for that. Positive mindset, of course, as we were saying, yeah, life is challenging us all the time. And we actually are shared between challenges and good things and people helping us. We all have guys or girls in our lives who are making everything tough and putting or blocking our path. And we all have people who are helping us, our family who are supporting us. So basically, you have to really be thankful for the challenges that happen in your life. And sometimes the challenges are really tough, but of course, they are here to make us improve our skills, improve our mindset. So we all know, like when we look back, and Steve Jobs was saying that you can only connect the dots when you look back on the path. And of course, we all have had difficult moments in life, failures in competition. We've all had heartbreaks. We've all had family problems. But finally, all of these, we've gone above them and we've become stronger. So we have to really think. We don't think problems. We think challenge. Okay, this is a challenge. Okay, this is cool. I'm alive. Let's go for the challenge. The COVID is a challenge. Okay, maybe the COVID is here to make us improve, and I'm sure we all have positive things that have happened in our life from the COVID, and of course we've had a lot of negative, and probably there will be a balance at the end. Some have more negative and more positive, but it's important the more you can to keep positive. And it's not easy because, of course, it's like going to the gym. You have to try and find the positive out of all the situations. Breathing techniques. There are many breathing techniques. The main one I use is, I don't know the name in English, but it's 5 minutes breathing. 5 seconds inhale, 5 seconds exhale. And this for 5 minutes, I would say even once a day is perfect. It's amazing. It makes you relaxed. It makes you, it actually solves a lot of things in my life. It just makes me feel much more relaxed. Just try it. It doesn't cost anything. Just try it for 1 week and you will see it's a real difference in how you feel. In competition, it makes you much more easy and yeah, you feel better. Another breathing technique I will use is I inhale, I stop breathing for 5 seconds, and then I often do this twice before taking off, and it just works immediately. So inhale for 5 seconds, block, and exhale. And this, even there, I'm doing it, makes me feel good. So this is an exercise I would use when I'm really feeling the stress is going too high, and it's an immediate release. You feel much better immediately. Depolarization, I wrote it down, but it's what I've spoken to you about, the method of just making the result less important in your life. And the point, do things one by one, be a machine. It doesn't mean be a machine and don't have emotions, of course. It means when you're doing a flight in aerobatics, just imagine every figure is a step, is one step after one step. So basically, don't start thinking about figure 4 that you don't know how to do when you're at figure 1. So please focus on every step, because if you jump to figure 4 and you're gonna miss step 1 or 2. And often when I make a mistake in flight, it's because I'm thinking about later or before. So think in the present and just go up the stair you are on. Basically, when you start thinking about this happens to me when I'm too happy about myself, when I make figure 1, 2, 3, 4, and I even, wow, what am I doing? It's beautiful. And I start thinking, just the half a second I'm proud of myself, oh, and then I make a mistake. So you have to just get out the emotions and just do your job one step after each other, and just stop being thinking about, oh, I'm so bad, I missed this figure, and then the next 3 ones are crap also. Okay, it's done, just go up this stair, and one after each other, go up the stairs, and you will reach the top, and we'll see at the end the points. And judging is also, I think Nick did about judging last time, and it is a human judging a human. So basically, you go up your stairs, and then you just go and have a drink, and then you'll see the results. But don't start thinking, oh, I'm so stupid, or oh, I'm so good. Just be really basic, one figure after another, and that's good, really. And when I spoke to Louis Van Hel, and I asked him, what is your best tip you can give me? And he said, well, basically, just imagine you smoking your cigarette and taking your time, and just do things one after each other. Flying a sequence in aerobatic is really basic. It's, okay, I go up to the vertical, step 1. I count, step 2. I do my rotation, step 3. I do this, step 4. I do my hammerhead step. And it's really, there's maybe 25 steps in the figure. So you have enough things to focus on in one figure. So this is also a very good tip. And have a routine, a checklist before flight. This is something I do because I'm not the best organized person. So I follow the steps. Before I fly, I know that 2 hours before I have to check the wind, check my order flight. 30 minutes before, I need to wear my flying suit. 15 minutes before, I need to get ready in the plane. And I have really a list of step by step what I have to do before I start my flight. And now I even have a list in the plane of things I have to do. And it just makes me feel more comfortable because I have a tendency to forget things. And this, just following the list, I don't forget anything, but just imagine, have I forgotten something? This makes me feel a bit nervous. So the routine checklist is really an important thing, I think. So anyway, I've gone through some of the points because there are so many, but I'll be really happy to have a chat with you, or maybe we can chat together about what do you do, and maybe you can give me tips or ask me any more things you need to.
I'd just like to say thank you. I thought that was great. I flew in my first international competition in 2019, and when you were talking about the stress management and the motivation, it was one of the things that I learned during the training for that competition. Ways of me doing that, and like you, I need to spend a little bit of time alone first to get my head into gear. To fly, so I went and lay underneath the wing of my aeroplane for the at least half an hour before the flight, just visualizing what was going on and doing the breathing exercises that you talked about. It made a huge difference to me, and I'm trying to integrate that into my flying more regularly now.
Yeah, sure. It's really the breathing exercise can save the situation when it's a panic. And we all don't realize, but when the panic arrives, it's really important to have something that can calm you down immediately, because sometimes it happens at takeoff, so you need something quickly.
Yeah.
Actually, on that point, Mel, do you have anything you do in the plane during a sequence? Say you have made a mistake and you're stressed out, or something was more difficult, or your positioning is gone off, to calm yourself down during a sequence?
Yeah, I do have actually. I have what we call an anchor. So basically, it's when you have lived a very good situation and with a lot of success and you've had a really good feeling about, we've all had this moment when we're flying, when we feel in the flow and we are in the performance zone and everything is so easy. And we've all had this moment where flying was really easy. And some days it's really, nothing works and we get nervous and that. And basically I've set an anchor. It's quite old, in fact, and I do actually use it. On my side, an anchor is a gesture that you implement in your brain. You work. I worked before with my coach, and basically you relax a bit. You put yourself in the situation again, and when he says go, you imagine a gesture, and it just brings you back to this moment where you were feeling good. And basically, for me, it's this. Like this, I cross my fingers, and sometimes even when when things are feeling a bit nervous or things are going badly, I just go like this, and it brings me back to the moment where I was feeling good. And it's actually something you need to work also. You need to make it quite often to keep it, but it is actually something I could do if things are going badly. And I actually become probably better when things go bad, because this is my way of doing things, but all the pressure seems to go when it's lost anyway. So this is how, when I started talking about the 231EX, this is when I was in the World Championships and it was lost anyway. I had only this choice of flying this new plane, and I've never done such a result than this day. I had some cushions of the settee in the hangar. I was sitting down. I wasn't even straight in the plane, and I took off. I could do 3 figures to check the plane, but I don't know, like if all the pressure went away, like it's lost anyway, so I have everything to win. And I just flew and didn't even pay a shit about what's happening. I just flew, and I think this is the secret. It's just relaxing and flying and having fun also.
It's a great idea.
Do you do anything to train for these things outside of competition, or do you just practice these things in competition?
I train outside. Actually, there are so many things I do, but the place where I do things a little bit differently, it's on a competition, and I did it this year. Because in competition, you have more time to prepare the flights. When I'm in a training camp, we often do a flight in the morning and one in the afternoon. Basically, a competition flight will take me a lot of time to prepare, because I will know exactly where I want to position my figures. I will calculate. I'll calculate. I'm not a mathematician, but I would say, okay, I start my program, I'm flying 100 meters per second, and I want, I'm going to go up, I'm going to do a square loop. So, okay, I'm going to go up at 100 meters per second. At the top, I'm at 50 meters per second, let's say. So I'm going to have an average of 70 meters per second. Okay, 4 seconds will make so many meters. So at the top, I will calculate how many meters. And then I will say, okay, there I have to center my rotation and this, that, and I'll calculate everything. It seems too much, it seems crazy, but it makes it so easy in flight. Then I just count, and I know I pass the judge. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, go. And then I count and I do the things. But basically, everything is already balanced because I've calculated on the ground. and I know exactly things by heart. And this is when I do in a company a keynote speech, I've understood the importance of knowing by heart the things, not just to say your lesson, but just because you can go out of the box when you know by heart. And when things go badly, then it's easy to just do something different, but your brain is ready to change because you know exactly what you're supposed to do. And you've calculated even the events. And I would say, and I've spoken, what I do when I investigate, I ask the champions and I try and improve their method. So basically this is it. It's really knowing your lesson by heart and visualize. I spoke with Paul Bonhomme, who was quite a great champion in the air race. And his secret was, if you visualize 1,000 times, you need to do it 2,000. It's really, the secret is when you know everything so well, then when something bad happens, you can just, okay, the free quarter was this side, the other side, no problem. I know that if I do it this way, I have to do this, and everything is really easy but it's a lot of work. It's a lot, hours and hours of really working hard and visualization. And so, yeah, this, if it's another secret, this is it. It's no talent, only hard work.
Hi, Mel. Actually, I had the question around that is how much time per day or per week do you spend on the physical training or the mental training?
So I would say in the winter, it's I have my coach 3 times a week, so 3 hours, plus myself, I do about the same. So 5 to 6 hours a week in the winter. And at the moment, it's maybe 2 hours a week or something like that. It's not so much, but I do the flying. So when I do the flying, for me, the flying is like the training. And it's the bases are here. And when I feel I'm losing a bit of physical, I just work again. But as soon as I have time, I do it. It's just that I'm always out and about, and it's more difficult to make a long training. So like I brought my mat, I'm doing some yoga because now I like it. And I do everyday stretching for sure, but I don't know if it's physical training, but I do 15, 20 minutes stretching every day, and it makes me feel so good. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit more about the boxing guy, his methodology?
Yeah, well, I can't tell you as well as him because it's his job. And but basically, I will tell you my experience. I worked on a person that made me feel bad, and he said, "Well, okay, this person, what's the problem?" And I said, "Well, this person is saying bad things on me." And I don't know, I started saying, what's the problem? Okay, so just tell me in simple words, or maybe let's say another example. This person is selfish. What is selfish? Well, selfish means this person is thinking about herself before thinking about the others. Okay, we've put words on selfish. So now, Melanie, give me 20 examples in your life where you've said, where you've been thinking about yourself before the others. And then, no. Okay, come on, we need to find 20 things. And you start writing down when, where, and with who you did that. And you write down, and it goes very far away in your childhood. And you realize that what you think about the person is bad is what you are. And often we don't realize that what others are, we are also. And it's like you want to phone this guy or girl, and you want to say, thank you so much, because you have brought me so many great things, and thanks to this person who has been selfish with me, I've been finding solutions to do it differently, and it's made me stronger, and it's that, and it just makes you release completely the pressure on someone you hate, or something you hate, or you can actually do it on fear also. Let's say, okay, I don't like to do flicks toward the ground because I'm scared, and nobody will say that openly, but when I flick towards the ground, I just can't do it because I'm scared. And then what is the threat? It's the threat of dying. And then you can depolarize, or whatever you say, this dying. Okay, what are all the good things that will happen if you die? And then you're like, what? And actually, it's weird what I'm saying, but you can actually find things, and then you just start to thinking it's not that bad, it's okay, and you start really. I've given the worst example, but I mean, you just start relaxing, because when we are blocked in flight and we just can't do something, and it's okay, it means that we're scared of dying. So you need to just relax about that. And it's fine, flick towards the ground is fine, but if you're scared of dying, you just can't do it. So when I'm walking on a cliff, I just can't be at ease because I'm scared of dying. So I can work on this for many things. It just takes a lot of time, but if you have really a point where it's hard in your life, it just even if I don't know, you are in a love story and you really love the person and it's finished, you can really make it low down, and knowing that this person, if he or she is not in your life, how many good things it will bring, or the opposite, how many. Anyway, it's all about positive and negative, and finding a balance. And there's always a balance in life. It's okay. This is the main point.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, it's a bit confused, but it's trying to give you the idea.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat. Do you spend a lot of time reviewing film of sequences?
I would like to spend much more time doing it. Unfortunately, I don't. I do a lot of films, but I don't actually have time to watch them. I think it's really good, but now I do it less because it's a lot of time spent. And when I'm on a training camp, for example, today I've been flying this afternoon. I've been doing some films. Actually, I did actually use one on my helmet, which will be quite useful because you can see the parameters and that. It's a test I did with a new system, but I think it's good. It's good for the gestures on the stick from time to time. When you think you are pushing on the stick and you're not, it's good to see it, because actually when you see it, you realize it. But after, I think, be careful on the time you lose on switching on off the cameras, charging them, the SD card, and it's really, it costs a lot of time. So I do it from time to time. But the main thing and the key thing, it's here at this camp, we have a friend filming from the ground. This is really amazing, because when you see from the ground, it's also nice to have the debrief of the coach with the film of the plane on the ground. And I think this is really interesting, especially when you're working on new figures, when you're struggling on a figure. But this is the most difficult thing to find, is someone on the ground to have a camera and to film. But this is if there's an investment to do on a training camp, it's filming from the ground.
Thank you.
Well, good evening, Steve. Brilliant summary of all the different things that you need to think about, both mentally and physically. One thing that I didn't hear you mention was about sleep and rest, and how important is that in your program? Yeah,
very good point. And I think we're all subject to this point, that we only have 24 hours in a day, and we have more and more, well, attention stealers, like the computers, like the phones, and I mean, the world is great today. We have access to everything, all the information we want. But for me, it's a real issue, because sometimes I'm on my screens very late, and of course I have links with USA, and for all of us who works with people from around the world, we tend to work all day and night. So yeah, it's not so easy, and basically, well, saying yes, you have to sleep, of course, we all know that, but I would say you have to sleep well. And what I do is when I go to bed, I think my the average cycle of people is an hour and a half for sleep. So when I go to sleep at, let's say at 11 o'clock in the evening, and I have to wake up around 7, let's say, I count how many 1 hour and a half I can fit in this gap. And if there it's 11, I know I can fit, well, I can't count there, but like 5. But sometimes I wake up an hour earlier because it's the end of my cycle, and I feel better than if I wait for the last moment and I wake up in the middle of a cycle. So I try just to calculate this before I go to bed, and I realize even if I sleep only 3 cycles, like 4.5, if I end at the end of my cycle, it's okay in fact, and then have a sleep in the afternoon.
Okay, that's a really interesting point. I hadn't thought of it from that point of view. What can we do as competition organisers to try and make it a little bit easier for the rest cycles to work at competitions for you?
Yeah, this is a really good input, because this is the main issue I have on competitions, is there aren't many rest points, and it would be nice to have a place where we can, I mean, in Saiwell it was amazing because the rooms are just next to the competition ground, so this is an amazing place for that. And I think you should have some little quiet place where you can just lie down for 10 minutes and just have a nap. This is why more and more now I actually bought a caravan just to bring on the airfield and just have a nap whenever I can. And I think it's just nice to have a place where you can stay calm. And it's the same thing on air shows. I'm surprised how on air shows the food is really basic, and you get chips and everything, and you don't have any places to rest. And for me, I can't understand why we are always focusing on safety, and sometimes things, okay, safety and this that, but we're eating chips and burgers, and we're basically in the sun and no way to go in the cool air. So I think it's nice to have a cool place, fresh air, and be able to just relax and sleep a little bit, or even maybe some settees or something where you can just relax or chill or whatever.
Okay, good. Thank you. There's a few things for us to think about there. That's brilliant. Thank you.
You're welcome.